Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Had a Dream Old Firm Special. It's Saturday night. Where would we rather be than round up all today's action and discuss tomorrow's big game? I've heard somewhere, Scotty, is a must-win.
It's definitely a must-win. Big game. Big, full stop, space, game, exclamation mark. Huge game tomorrow, Ibrox, Stephen, yes.
Looking forward to it indeed. Listen, right, truthfully, the lateness may have been my fault. Right, I may or may not have been ordering a Chinese, right, and couldn't find on the menu what we wanted. That may or may not have been the issue. I would apologise if I was any sort of person, but I'm not. You all know that. Scotty, how has your Saturday been? Has it been good while we wait for Andrew to do the Twitter stuff?
Do you know my day's actually been okay. Patterson Jr., my youngest, he was playing a game of sevens this morning across at the Sir Matt Busby complex across at Bellshill. So the first time we've both been over there, he played, scored, and scored a penalty after the match as well. So he's delighted. I was, as a result, dragged off as part of a tenner a goal bet. So I ended up having to treat him, which was a right pain in the bahookie, to be perfectly honest with you. But no, I've had a good day. I've had a really good day. I'm genuinely looking forward to tomorrow. I managed to catch some of the Friday night pod last night with Andrew and Calvin and a very, very passionate, perhaps unsurprisingly, Amrit. And he set the tone for the weekend, I think, very nicely, and a variety of different reasons, I have to say. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. You know, I really am.
Yeah, it's a big one. I'm certainly looking forward to myself. Andrew, good evening, mate. Thank you for posting on Twitter. It seems to have posted twice, so two things have happened here. It's either sorted itself or you posted it twice. What do you think?
I'm pretty sure I posted it the once, so it generally wouldn't be surprising if Elon's pulled another fucking wire out and something else is broken over there. Yeah. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised. But nonetheless, it posted from the right account this time, as opposed to the last time I volunteered to do it. So, all good. But yes, I'm happy to be here, excited to be talking about the game. I don't know how much talk about Storners there'll be. I'm not sure I can bring Amrit's quality to it, but we'll do what we can tonight,
No, we are definitely Stornerless tonight. Tomorrow, after the Old Firm, if we win, can't guarantee it. Let's talk about a few bits, Scotty. The Academy in the last 24 hours has announced two big contracts. First of all, Kyle Glasgow signing his first professional contract, which is fantastic news for the club because he is one that we're really heard a lot of. I've seen him a few times. He signed his first professional contract. There was so much interest in him. Yeah. He's obviously... He could play for Portugal, and he's played for he's netted 15 times this campaign for the under-19s and under-17. Recently capped by Scotland under-17s, and he's also made his debut for Portugal under-16s against Italy in December. So this is a boy that's got a lot of good things said about him. He scored a lot of goals this year. He's only just turned 16, but to actually sign him up for the club is great news.
Do you know, it really is. I think we actually spoke about in the Sunday show a wee while ago about how one thing I think has been drilled into us as Rangers fans the last couple of years is pathway guys in the academy, guys playing in the B team that are playing reasonably well, that struggle to almost open the doors to break into the first team. I think that there's a real chance that Kyle, and you don't want to put undue pressure on this kid, of course you don't, but there's a real chance that based on everything you see, everything you read, he could break the mould a little bit. I think there's probably a really good chance you're going to see him before the end of the season. Because I think Rule was keen to involve him a couple of weeks ago, a month or so ago now, in the League Cup game at Ibrox. I think there's a really good chance you'll see him before the end of the season in some sort of first team duty. And I hope we do. We've lost a lot of 16-year-olds to big money deals, primarily down to Newcastle. We lost the boy Goodbrand, who I think went, and the boy Hutchison, I think, went as well. So there was unquestionably a bit of a theme there, in the sense that these guys are maybe getting better offers to go elsewhere. My understanding was that Kyle Glasgow was absolutely adamant that he wanted to stay around, and he saw evidence that there was a pathway for him, and that he would get the opportunity to show what he can do. I think it will come way quicker than what many of us think, and I think you will see him before the end of the season. But regardless of all of that, great day for him and his family. I'm sure he's proud as punch, and I think for the support, it's one to be really excited about, to be honest.
Yeah, it's certainly an exciting one, Andrew. More good news today. Josh Gentles, Russell Martin's favourite player, has signed a contract extension until June 2027 with an option for the further year. The option is a good thing, another short-term deal to protect the club, I suppose, but it's probably like Kyle Glasgow, it depends on how these players kick on. We've seen many at that age. They need to take the opportunity as much as we need to give it. It's all right saying here's the pathway, but the players need to grab it as well.
Yeah, my old mate Iddy will be delighted because he's a Welsh boy coming through. So, he's a player who's looked promising at that level. It's always going to be the question if you can take that step up to the next level. Yeah, I'm excited. It's tying down our talent. It's making sure that we have those young options. The important thing, I think, and the thing that we've been not successful doing is getting those youth team prospects through to the next stage, to bring them through to the first team. We haven't seen enough of that. So hopefully it's the start of something, and we do see that starting to happen in the next year or so.
Yeah, just to make a quick point, this is not a fucking green t-shirt, so cut your pish, everybody in the comments. Scores today, ladies and gentlemen, from, just run through a few of them actually. English Premiership, Bournemouth 1, Sunderland 1, Burnley 3, Brentford 4, cracking game there, Liverpool 5, West Ham 2, Newcastle 2, Everton 3, very high scoring actually, Leeds 0, Man City 1, our old pal Philip Clement with a smashing result again for Norwich, 2-0 winners away to Leicester. I actually said Philippe Clement wouldn't do well there, and he's proven me wrong, so good on you, Phil. Into Scottish Premiership, Dundee 3, Hibs 3, Falkirk 5, Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 1, Aberdeen 0, Livy 1, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 2, Dundee United 0. Scott, the big results there, obviously. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 2, Dundee United 0. This is very much now a 4-team race for this Premier League, even if we won't admit it or not. Motherwell are right in this, and that's a couple of results. Hearts just keep churning these 1-0s. That's Livy, that's Hibs. I think they won 1-0 last week. Yeah. And this is another one then today. So it was Falkirk that beat last week. So that's 4 in recent memory. I can remember Hearts winning. They keep winning and winning. The gap now at the top of the Premiership, Hearts are on 63, Rangers 56, Celtic 54, Motherwell 53. Tomorrow was always going to be big, but that adds the pressure. We're 7 points behind. We have to win the game tomorrow. Anything else, and it's a long way back. He wouldn't rule us out because of the way the season went, but that results today makes it just that little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think from our perspective, and it's going to sound pithy, of course it is, but it's Celtic at Ibrox. You always need to be looking to win these games, whether you are sitting top of the pile by a mile or whether you are miles behind. You're always looking to win these games every single time. But I think tomorrow, and again, without going back to what I covered at the start, Amrit covered it really, really well last night. The sort of the mental gain that we could get from winning tomorrow is absolutely massive. I don't think a victory for us, obviously mathematically, it means that everyone's still in and about it with 9 games or so to go. But I think from a mentality perspective, if we can beat them tomorrow and beat them well, by the way, I mean, you get 3 points ultimately regardless. But I think there's an opportunity for this current group of Rangers players to really make a mark on Celtic tomorrow at Ibrox. We've played them twice already this season. First game at Ibrox was a complete non-event under the previous manager and the people that supported them then. But the match at Celtic Park, we battered them, absolutely battered them. And I think because of things that have went on since, it's easy to sort of forget that just how good we were that afternoon at Celtic Park. If we play like that tomorrow, I'm really quite sure that it'll definitely put a nail in the coffin. And with them having to come back again next Sunday for a cup that at that point they potentially may need to win to give them something to be happy about for the season, tomorrow is a huge game for Rangers for the next 2 weekends. But for them, goodness me, it could put their season into a bubble immediately. And I certainly hope it does, needless to say.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. And the thing with that is as well, I think they're itching to tear each other apart over there.
Yeah.
Because they've been threatening it. And Yeah, it's on that knife edge, Andrew. If we were to get the points tomorrow, that would leave Celtic 9 points behind. They would have a game in hand. They would be on the same games as Motherwell and just a point clear of them. This is a huge game for us, so we'll concentrate on us. But Rangers certainly do have the absolute opportunity to hammer a nail right into our biggest rivals. And by the way, in this last 15 years, it would be churlish not to say that they have dominated us and they have done this to us plenty. Is it not about time, Andrew, that we went and stuck it to them and ended their season?
I think you have to look at how we have been performing at home, regardless of the opposition, even including, them. We had one of the most boring Old Firm games that we've ever had, as Scott says, under the previous regime. But we still managed to stay unbeaten with a team that could leak goals continuously. So if we could do that under a Russell Martin team, there's absolutely no reason to think that at home, the crowd behind us and the team playing as well as it has been in the big games, there is absolutely no reason to think that we shouldn't be able to go on and dominate this game, as has happened, unfortunately, to us far too many times in the past. So, although obviously I think there's always the element of apprehension around it, feeling a little bit nervous, that's natural because it's a big game and it means something. And Christ, how many seasons has it been where a game in February would already be, well, we're just looking forward to next season because we're already out of everything. We've had that far too many times. So to be in contention, to be in the thing, that's a good thing. But it's a game that means something. And the opportunity is absolutely there for all these players to go on and really make a statement, because we've already seen comments from the other side of the city about how they think that we are better than they are. Now, I don't think the table lies. It certainly won't lie at the end of the season. I don't think you can see sitting in third and say that you're the best team in the country. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I hope that the players are as excited. I think they should have all the motivation in the world they could possibly have for this game. It's huge. It's not just huge; it's large. It's massive. All those things. So yeah, very excited for it. And yeah, can't wait till tomorrow.
Just before we kind of go and talk about team news and talk about kind of the real comments in the press and things like that, Scott, where are you with tomorrow in terms of, if Rangers weren't to get a result tomorrow, would you be resigned to it being too much and too far away? If Rangers get a result tomorrow, is that the momentum? Is it a case of what we do and not a case of what Celtic do? I've said in many weeks that the only team that can stop Rangers is Rangers. You look at the goals against Hearts, mistakes. The goals against Livy, mistakes. If we can be disciplined, I think we win against any team in this league, but we can't seem to cut out the moments of mistakes that give teams the impetus. And I've got, look, people might not want to say this, Celtic are champions. I do have the respect for them, and they did win on Thursday night. They do have the ability to turn up, but they are not in a good place, and we need to hammer that home. So where are you with the permutations of tomorrow, and do you think it's on Rangers and only Rangers?
I think from our perspective, I think if we lose tomorrow, I think it would be hard to catch Hearts. Hearts' next few games are, I loathe to say they're easy. I think Hearts' next game in the league, for example, is to go to Kilmarnock, and Neil McCann is, and I love Neil McCann, by the way, but he's definitely struggling down there. Falkirk just round the corner from me, cuffed them today. So you would fancy Hearts to go to Kilmarnock in a couple of weeks and get another 3 points. Now, by then, tomorrow's game will have happened. Celtic have been to Aberdeen. The cup game will have passed. So there's a lot of football that will have passed in that period of time. So Hearts could absolutely streak away. I think Rangers must win it tomorrow. And I think a draw would be a pretty pithy result. I think I would maybe feel a bit more confident about it, Stevie, if both ourselves and Celtic were on level pegs as far as games played are concerned. We're very aware that they've got a game to play against Aberdeen up the road, I think next Tuesday night, I think it is. And that could effectively position them better depending on what happens tomorrow. But I think ultimately I completely agree with you saying it's down to what we do, and we determine how this can fall out for Rangers. My main concern is Hearts continuing to churn out results, Stevie, to be honest with you, without playing overly. I mean, they've not battered teams of late. They've beat them 1-0, 1-0, and they're missing guys that at the start of the season were their main players. Devlin, of course, being out, Shanklin being out. They've missed Craig Halkett for a period. They're now missing Stuart Findlay. And I mean, the latter, and I don't want to talk too much about Hearts, but I think there was a good chance that Halkett and Findlay would have threw their hat in the ring for a World Cup slot this season. They've been really, really good. And I don't think you can sort of pass by that. Hearts have been a cracking season. But we can determine how this league finishes, as far as I'm concerned, moving forward. And who would have thought 6 months ago that we would get to Old Firm match number 3 of the season, the second one at Ibrox, thinking that we go into it, and if we win it, you could effectively put Celtic to the very bottom of a title race of 3. It's unheard of. Scottish football's delivering this year. I don't care what anyone says, and you can get into the weeds about whether the quality is good or whether the teams are of a certain quality. But it's exciting, and I think we're in for a really exciting 4 or 5 weeks leading into in April, and then after the split, it could be a bit of a lottery for us all.
Andrew, what's your thoughts on the permutations of tomorrow, and if it is a case of Rangers are the only team that can stop Rangers?
I think it's always been in our hands. We have thrown away too many points already, I think, this season to feel confident about winning every game, because, could have assumed that we would comfortably take care of Livy, and then we find ourselves 2-0 down to them at half time. So we should, I think, with the players that we have, we should be in a better position than we are. But I don't think it's just, the 3 teams who are at the top who are going to have a say. Motherwell are going to have a say in this as well. They've still got to play Celtic and Hearts before the split. That's absolutely going to come to bear. And then, obviously, once we go into the split as well, it's the top 6 all playing against each other. I think this season that's really going to mean something, because I think all the teams who are going to be in the top 6, I mean, it's, first of all, for Rangers, we can throw away points against pretty much anyone this season if we decide to. It's absolutely within our grasp to go ahead and win this, but it's also within our grasp to go ahead and cock it up as well. I would like to hope that we, especially at home, that there's no team that can come to Ibrox and dominate us. I think we have it absolutely within us to, in a game at Ibrox, go ahead and win that game and win it comfortably, no matter who comes on. But yeah, I am concerned. Like, genuinely, I'm looking ahead to next month, and the game that I'm most concerned about is St Mirren away, because I cannot account for what we might do away from home. Celtic in the cup, great. Celtic at home, great. St Mirren away, lads, we'd find a way to throw away 2 points there, But I mean, nonetheless, it's absolutely still within our hands. I know that mathematically we need Hearts to drop points, so it's not entirely within our own power now in terms of the league title. But this league has got plenty of twists and turns. The fact that they keep winning 1-0 is obviously deeply annoying, but I still think that their injuries are going to come back to bite them, because we've seen it plenty of times with us. We've seen it plenty of times with other teams as well, where injuries have eventually just told and you can't get it that farther over the line. I think that's still going to have a part to play for Hearts towards the end of the season. They have far too many players out now, and eventually that is going to pay them. So, yeah, it's still, for me, it's our own power. We can absolutely throw this away, but we can also go ahead and seize the initiative, and tomorrow is going to be a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about St Mirren. My only thing is thinking about Celtic tomorrow. I think in danger of Barry Ferguson spoke to us during the week, and his one big point was that you take one game at a time. When you're chasing a title, it's one game at a time. So for me, we look ahead no further than tomorrow. Guys, it's that old adage, what team selection are we going to go tomorrow? I'm going to run through. I would assume that Jack Butland would start in everybody's team. Left back, it has to be two Romans for me, attacking wise. He's got the passion, he's got the aggression. I think Tour has to start on the left. In the middle is Fernandes and Suter. I thought Suter had a really poor game last week, Scott, but I wouldn't fancy Giga next to him. Right back, there's no Dujon Sterling. We will go on that assumption, although it's give or take. Then I am going with James Tavernier at right back. Max Aarons is out as well, we believe. So it's Tav at right back. Is there any variation in that back line for you?
Do you know, I actually think in recent times when I've seen Giga, I've actually thought he's been no bad.
Okay, yeah. It's the bottoms for me, mate. I can't.
100%. I've tried to wear those out when I've been running over here in Falkirk, and people don't like it, Stevie. You know what I mean? You try and bring new things to the group, it just doesn't work. No, I've liked Giga in recent times. Would I start? I think it depends on what Danny Rowe goes with in formation. I think we're assuming at that point he's going to go for a back four. If he goes for a 3, for example, at the back, I think Giga becomes one of the 3 alongside John Suter and Fernandes. You're absolutely right. I thought Suter was bogging last weekend. And we can't use, and I don't want to cover bits and pieces from history, but kind of use maybe the Livingston pitch for a guy who's played in the country all his career as being a problem for him, because he'll have done it more often than not when he's went to Livingston. So he just had a rotten day, to be perfectly honest with you. But I would argue the issue you have is that those days seem to be a bit more regular. That said, I think considering that he maybe knows a bit more about the tie, I think he would start tomorrow with Fernandes. And I think the back 4, if we do go with a 4, and the 4 guys that you've named would be the 4 that I would certainly start with. Tavernier, Suter, Fernandes, and Romans, who I've been really impressed with, I have to say.
Okay, so I'm going to skip to the forward line because I feel the midfield is where we have the most issues. Andrew, before we move on, would you change anything for that defence or anything?
I think the only question is if Sterling's fit. Because
Sterling's fit, he starts for me, but
yeah, I think that's the question, right? If he's fit, I think he comes in. Not even necessarily a right back. I think that because Suter has a mistake in him, I'd be inclined to put Sterling in next to Fernandes, and I'd stick with Tav at right back. But that's just because I have concerns about Suter having a brain fart in him, and it's absolutely a game where you cannot afford that. Yeah. But beyond that, I mean, it's all ifs and maybes depending on if Sterling's fit, which has been the concern that we've had with him, unfortunately, for a lot of the season. Broadly, what I want is what we played against Hearts. So that's going to be my team in formation. Sterling start at right back in that, but yeah, I think that's broadly where I want to see the team going.
So I have to play 2 up front tomorrow. I think we go for them, Scott. I think we go Chermiti and Naderi. I think Naderi absolutely has to start. If there's one starting, it is Naderi. If there's 2, Chermiti plays with him. Couple of reasons. Chermiti comes deep and he likes to link up. Naderi will occupy the defence, which will give Chermiti more. I thought we got that from Hearts, and I think it allowed him more room. If there's one up front, it allows defences to pick them up easier. And also from that one, Chermiti does drop a lot. He does his best work, I think, away from goal. If you play 2, it allows them to link up. The other reason is their defence is horrendous, and they've got injury and suspension problems all over the place. So I'm going 2. What we do in midfield and leading up to that, I'm open to suggestions, but I am 100% going to, and I'm going for them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Chermiti, Nadiri. Mayovsky for me is a no. Mayovsky had the opportunity last week against Livy, and he's just flatters to deceive all the time. I just don't think he works with Chermiti. Could he work with Nadiri? Yes, most likely. But again, he's somebody that likes to drop off, so he can't play with Chermiti, because what happened against Livy is they both ended up dropping off and they don't get involved and lead the front line. Nadiri kind of changes things a wee bit as long as he's fit. He's at 100% certain to start from me, Scotty. How are you going with your forward line?
Completely agree. It has to be Chermiti and Nadiri. And I'll tell you the reason why. I think for a long time, when you talk about, and when we've had successful duos up front, McCoyston lately, Boyd and Miller more recently, and you always think that duo up front, a two up front almost always is a big tall guy and a wee tiny guy. I think tomorrow, if you go at guys like Dane Murray, who's not played a lot of football this season for Celtic and he's young, inexperienced. I think if you're horsing Chermiti in on him or Nadiri in on him, he's shitting himself. He ain't enjoying it one bit. And I appreciate that may come back and bite me in the bum saying that. So all those that are clipping it, by all means, bash on. But I do think having two guys with the presence that Chermiti and Nadiri have can only work in our favour. I agree that Mayovsky just hasn't worked. I don't know what Mayovsky we've signed, but it certainly doesn't look like the guy that was at Aberdeen historically. And I appreciate there's maybe big gaps in his career where he's not played as much football, etc., etc., etc. But he's certainly not the same guy that we thought was going to rock up and score and score and score. He ain't looked like that guy at all. For me, the two that you've mentioned, Stevie, have to be the two that start tomorrow and have a right bash at them from the first second. Get right in the ribs and just see how we go on.
What about you, Andrew? How are you lining up tomorrow up top, or formation wise to get? Are you going to?
Yeah, Stoner all the way. Nadiri and Chermiti have to be the front two for sure. Behind them, Skov Olsen and Moore. I think even though Skov Olsen has not, I think, had the best of starts, I still think he's a better starter. And then you have someone like Kasama who you can bring on later on. And then the two behind them, Raskin and Chukwani, I think, are the two. Although it's a toss for coin between, I think, Raskin and Dio for the two. I don't think you can play Raskin and Dio together at the start. I would like to have one back as the option. But yeah, Nadiri and Chermiti, I think, absolutely is the right call. I don't think we have any alternate options that would work there for me. And we saw how well it worked together with those two. So 100% that's got to be the way to go.
Can I just say what my fold in the space would be, Stephen? I would give Mikey Moore a free roll tomorrow at Ibrox. And I would almost say, do you know what I mean? Bash on, you know what you're good at, get on with it. And I would go with Diomande, Big Tochi, and Nico Raskin. And I probably would look to involve Skov Olsen and Gassama as impact substitutions, particularly the latter. And I never thought I would be picking Gassama to come on maybe ahead of Skov Olsen, but I think the former has struggled a wee bit since he arrived. I like him. We know what he's capable of doing. I don't think it's fair to say we've seen it yet, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not saying we won't see it between now and mid-May, but at the minute, I'm not entirely sure he's doing a lot to warrant a start. I think having the three of Diomande, Chukwani and Raskin in there gives us a bit of solidity in the centre of the park. Mikey Moore can do as he pleases, and you've got the two guys up top who are hopefully going to be fed some sort of ammunition with Romans going down one side and Tav going down the next. That's what my starting 11 would be, but I think the game ultimately will be won by that space in the middle of the defence and our attack. I genuinely do. We've seen so many times, albeit not this season, but I think historically we've seen anytime Celtic have came to Ibrox or we've went to their place, it's always been ran historically by a Scott Brown or a Callum McGregor. And we have seen opportunity where we've sat Todd Cantwell and Bajrami sat on McGregor one Old Firm game and nullified the threat that he offers. We need to, as opposed to focus on trying to nullify Callum McGregor tomorrow, give the tools to our Mikey Moores and the Dairy and our Timotties and just take the game to them and just have a right bash at them.
It's funny because if you remember the game at Parkhead, in the second half, we decided to give up on Callum McGregor. Yeah. And because we had sat somebody on him in the first half and realised that he isn't the player that he used to be, and he's a good player, but he's not quite what he used to be. Now, I'm going to be careful because these things can bite you, and I think Callum McGregor's a good player, but he's not where he was. I think he's 33, 34 now, and we took somebody off him, and it really helped us because Nico began to dominate and go forward, and we got a hold of the game. I'm going to slightly change. I wouldn't go 3 centres in mid tomorrow. We're at home. I would go 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2 if you want a variation of it. I'm definitely starting Mikey Moore 100% off the left-hand side. And I'm starting Ollie Ant-Man if he's fit and if he can come in. Scove Olsen and Gassama on the bench. I know Olsen's got Ant-Man's got hamstring issues. That's a concern for me. Obviously, Gassama doesn't start because I don't think he's ready. Olsen hasn't done enough for me either, and Gassama's been off it for a while. So Gassama to replace Moore, and then Olsen to come on later in the game. And I'm also putting Bayrami in the mix. Tell Asgard's nowhere near it for me. Sorry, guys. Just not even a consideration. And that's the kind of formation I would go for. We were at home. We've got to win this game. Yeah. I don't think we need 3 in the middle. I would go Diamande and Raskin. I know that's a risk. Dio always turns up in these games, but Dio's also a very good sub against them. Yeah. So Chukwani and Raskin could be. But I think the variation will be somewhere in there. I don't think there's anybody we're really leaving out. I don't think they're in. Bayrami, I don't really like out in the wide. If I could get him centrally, I would play him, but I don't think we can accommodate that. With 2 up top, you need to sacrifice your 10, and Chermiti's going to come in anyway. And I think Bayrami's been unlucky, and he was good on the right last week, so he does kind of come in to the thought process. But if Ant-Man's fit, I want to start Ant-Man because I've seen really good things from him that I like, and Ant-Man and Moore can play left and right. Both of them can switch about. So that would be my curveball as such. I don't think Ant-Man will make it. So I think he's struggling hamstring-wise. But is there anybody else that comes into the reckoning? Is there anybody else that we should be considering in that lineup?
I absolutely agree about Bayrami because I think he should have a part to play. Certainly much more than some of the other substitutions who have come on recently, like someone who plays like an excitable Alsatian, perhaps. Yeah, he's every time he's come on, he's made an impact on the game. So I think he's a fantastic option to come off the bench. Bayrami. Ant-Man, I think with you, Stevie, especially, I think the fitness thing is a concern. I don't know if he's going to be there well enough to make an impact. Sterling, the only reason I'm talking about him is because he's out injured all the time, so he's used to it. So he can absolutely easily come back from it. And then, I think, broadly speaking, you've kind of lined up similar to where I'm at. Ant-Man, I think, has a part to play if he's fit. But it's if he's fit. So then it's, for me, Gassama is always better, I think, recently coming off that bench. So that's where he stays. And then he can absolutely come on and make an impact. I think especially for a winger, being able to come on after 70 minutes when everyone's knackered and you have more space to run into, that's absolutely the environment in which Gassama thrives. So that's, for me, exactly where he would be. For Mikey Moore, for an 18-year-old, I mean, I think he's going to have a massive thing to play for the rest of this season. He's going to have a huge influence, and I've no idea when Spurs are going to make the decision on what happens next with him. But for me, I would have him playing every game because he's going to go to a very good place, I think. And I think we've just got to enjoy him while we've got him. I think already the fact that an 18-year-old is dictating as much the play as he does is a really good thing. It's another leader on the pitch, which is an odd thing to be saying about an 18-year-old, but it's true. He's one of the players who does drive us forward, who does make things happen. when he's on it. So he's 100% the starter for me, as far as I'm concerned tomorrow.
Do you know if I can see? Do you know if I can say one thing as well, Stephen? I think the way Ibrox will be and the way we are as a support will play a huge part tomorrow for so many of our players. Some of these guys will have never heard Ibrox as loud as it'll be tomorrow, I suspect. And that you're in a situation like you're speaking to the obvious guys, the newbies that have came in. But I also think because there is so much resting on tomorrow, I think even the guys that have been there historically will get the fright of their lives when they realise how noisy Ibrox is going to be tomorrow. And it's probably one of the main reasons why I actually wonder if I don't want to say Ant-Man's petrified of playing at Ibrox, but if he hasn't liked it playing against Hibs at Ibrox or some of these Europa League nights at Ibrox, he's in for a hell of a shock tomorrow if he was to start, because Ibrox is going to be as noisy as it's been all season, I suspect. So it'll be the making of some of these boys tomorrow. I don't think there's any doubt in it. And as I say, us as a support, and I think Danny Rowe's been saying this for weeks now, the part that we have to play in the stands tomorrow, I don't think can be underestimated. We've got a real chance, and I've said this before in the Sunday show, Ibrox has an ability to suck people up and in out the ground, and I think it's really important that tomorrow we use that energy to make sure it happens.
I'm going to just ignore what you just said there. There were so many cheeky responses to that. Scotty, before we go, where is this game won and lost tomorrow?
Midfield for me, 100% for midfield. I think if we can, I hope we have a vast amount of the sort of territory tomorrow. I suspect that'll be down to the guys that are in there. Old firms so often are about guys that step up when they need to be. It might be an unlikely hero. I mean, who's to say Manny Fernandez doesn't pop up with a header for a set piece, or a Giga starts and scores a header? These games have a knack of surprising people with throwing people into the headlines, and I suspect something like that will happen tomorrow. Realistically, Stevie, I don't care. I honestly don't care, but I do want, when I'm walking back over the Squinty Bridge to my car tomorrow, I want to be skipping because I'm in a really good mood. I want to know that Rangers are just taking 3 points off Celtic and have put themselves in a right good position of challenging, going into the last 9 games this season, to win the league this season. Because if you had told me when Russell Martin was in charge, fixing his hair and giving it all this crap about veggies or whatever it was on, that we would have been in this position going into the sort of fast approach in the split games, I would have thought you were mental. We have done it ridiculously well under the stewardship of Danny Rowe to get right back into this. And I don't care how it happens tomorrow. I just want Rangers to win. They can do it with a fluky goal in the last minute that bounces off of Mikey Moore's left bum cheek. I don't care. I want us to win. It's important we do that tomorrow.
Andrew, where's this game won and lost?
It comes down to the strike force for me. If Chimiti plays like he has done in our previous big games, then we'll be out of sight before half-time. Chimiti plays like he's done in the rest of the games, then we may struggle. So I think it comes down to that. We need to get better about putting the ball in the back of the net. If we can do that on a consistent basis, I think we'll be all right. The defense is always going to be an interesting factor because we know that we have a brain fart in us. But for me, it's all about taking the opportunities when they come, and we will get opportunities. We have too much, I think, in the way of attacking prowess to not have opportunities. The last Old Firm game at Ibrox aside, I think we are going to create opportunities. It's all about taking them. For me, that's going to be the important thing. And if we do that, then we're on our way.
Do you know what's important tomorrow as well, Stevie? That Rangers aren't tepid from the start. Do you know what I mean? We have to make sure that we start banging, ready to go. Do you know what I mean? The minute the tifo disappears, we're absolutely on our A game, and it has to be that for 90 minutes. It can't be a nice slow start into the game. Do you know what I mean? Let them bed into a pattern of play that they like to play. Go at them from the outset, regardless of what the formation is. That I don't care who plays tomorrow. As far as effort, drive, energy, mentality, it all has to be there from the get-go tomorrow. And you know what I mean? I see guys saying in the chat, "Blood and thunder." It's all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's the Old Firm game at Ibrox, and anything less than 105% tomorrow will not do. And these guys need to understand, if they want to sort of look back in their careers, May 2026, I want them to be able to look at a nice shiny league winners medal. They can only get to that stage with a win tomorrow. Simple as that.
Yeah, what I would say tomorrow is echoing many of the things. Rangers have to want it tomorrow. The only team that can stop Rangers tomorrow is Rangers. And again, I say it, go for them, go for their throat, go to up front, go and have a right good go at them. And if we die doing that, then at least we've had a go at them. Don't allow them, like you said, Scotty, don't allow them the chance to settle in and dictate. Go and have a go at them. If we lose a goal, then crowds stick with them and we just hunt and we chase them and we keep going. I think that's the biggest thing for me. We have players that can hurt them. It's who wants it, who's turning up, who wants to go and fight, and it's our place. So batter them tomorrow. Go and give it a right good go. Whatever happens, happens. But as long as we have a go, you know, standing tall and not on our knees, then I absolutely love it. It's going to be some game. Scotty, what a pleasure to pod with you, mate. It's a rarity with us crossing over like we do, but it's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you tomorrow, as we always do in the main stand. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I am confident that Rangers will be in a good place tomorrow.
Thanks, Stevie. Listen, it's been good to be on. I look forward to it tomorrow. It's ultimately one of these games. I think when you look for it in the calendar, it's when you know, right, I'm going to make a point of enjoying that. There's a different feeling about this one tomorrow, I think. And while I don't want to come across as being too confident, because I'm obviously conscious that I'm on tomorrow night with Rob, Cheryl and Douglas, I think there's a good chance we're going to pump them.
Andrew, thank you, mate. Always a pleasure.
No, it's always been fun to come on with you, Stevie. I am confident today for tomorrow. How I'm feeling when we actually hit kickoff is another matter, but right now, in this moment, I'm feeling confident. We know it's how massive this game is. The importance has been gone over plenty of times, but if Rangers turn up, if Rangers play the way that they know how to play, then we shouldn't have anything to worry about at all tomorrow.
Yeah.
So bring it on, boys. I'm ready. Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, been a pleasure. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for everybody's thousands of people watching across all the podcast channels. We really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on YouTube. That really helps us grow. If you want to become a member, you can become a member just by simply clicking on the QR code, which is up there, I believe, in the corner of your screen, somewhere over there. Yeah, something like that. And you can join for as little as 99p, or it's in our description. We are going to be in Belfast on the 28th of March. Ticket sales are going well. Please check that out if you're in the vicinity. Live singer, and we will take the stage and talk about two very famous Rangers wins against Celtic at the start of March. That's certainly the hope. Huge thanks to our sponsors for this special show: Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Condition, Amrit's very own Candide, and our Sunday show, Local Dark Shop Online. Scotty, Andrew, thank you very much. For everybody that has been watching, have a fabulous Saturday evening. Bring your voices, bring your heart, bring lots of passion tomorrow. The team and the players and the manager will need everything from us. We will give everything. We'll ask them to give everything of them also for us. We'll be back tomorrow night on the Sunday show with Scotty and his team. Please join us for what is sure to be, hopefully, a celebratory Rangers evening. Have a good night, folks. Good luck to Rangers tomorrow. We are the people. Good luck. Cheers.
Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.